Was okay. So, hello and welcome, everybody. Sorry for a little bit of mix-up that was going on there. The few technical issues that were happening. We're live now. So, I'd like to introduce myself very quickly, and then I want to introduce my lovely guest. So, hello, welcome to this special interview. My name is Susie, and I help spiritual women, I help my clients to connect to their soul mission, their soul purpose by working with the Akashic records and healing the blocks that are holding them back. Today, we have a truly inspiring session lined up for you. We'll be diving into the incredible transformation of one of my beautiful clients after having a soul blueprint reading with me. So we're going to explore how understanding and balancing feminine and masculine energies can really elevate your spiritual business. And we'll also be discussing her journey from struggle to success, the profound insights that she gained, and how these revelations have empowered her to thrive. So thank you for joining us. And I'd love to introduce you to Lizzie Vince. So would you like to introduce yourself, Lizzie?
Yes, thank you so much. And hello to everyone watching live or the replay. And hi to Lois, who is here with us live in the Zoom room right now. So I am Lizzie, and it's really even difficult for me to explain what I do because I feel like I'm still getting clarity on that, which you've, Susie, massively helped me with. But I would say, an intuitive business coach, and I really bring in manifesting generator style. For those of you that know human design, I really bring in the multiple aspects of the masculine and the feminine, like Susie said. So the masculine strategy, and I have a marketing background, and I help my clients to basically increase their sales online through content, with the spiritual aspects of mostly energy work and shadow work. I'm really passionate about going deep into our shadows, and I have a Scorpio North Node for you astrologists out there, or anyone interested in astrology. So anything that's like a bit dark and taboo is a thing that I'm all over. So yeah, I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you here. It's so nice to talk about how my clients have experienced different things through the reading, because obviously you all experience different things, you're all at different stages, and how that really helps you to bring your desires, your business desires, your business dreams into reality. So what drew you to have a soul blueprint reading in the first place?
Yeah, so when I first found you, and when we first connected, I felt your intuitive gifts, and I felt like I knew that you could see the things that I couldn't see. And at that point, I mean, I can't remember when we spoke. Do you remember the first time that we spoke on Zoom? A few months ago.
It was
I
a
can't
few months
remember.
ago, definitely.
Like in the spring,
Yeah.
maybe March. I can't remember. But anyway, and I wasn't really in a great place. I haven't really been in a great place for like 2 years after, burnout in my business and my stepdad passing away, and just like ego deaths, and deaths and rebirths, what's felt like over and over again, and just mental health stuff, and just a lot of going on that spiritual awakening journey. And so I feel that we found each other in such divine timing, as always, because I was feeling so lost and kind of fed up and confused and overwhelmed, and just like, like, what is my thing? Like, if only somebody could tell me what my thing was, then I could move forward. Because not to like label anything, but I'm not a lazy person. Like I'm a bit of a doer. I like to take action, and the fact that I was kind of procrastinating and not taking action was weird for me. It was like, something is definitely up. And Susie could see the things about myself that I wasn't owning, and we'll go deeper into that. But yeah, there are a few things that Susie shared with me that were very triggering at the time because it was things that I was suppressing. And, I still feel, to be honest, that I'm coming out of the spiritual closet. And I know that's something we spoke about. So that's still something I'm owning more and more. And yeah, it'll be a journey, I guess, of like the infinite unfolding of that.
Definitely. Definitely. I find that a lot of my clients are kind of, they know that they're spiritual, they work privately with the spiritual stuff, but it's not something they own, right? Through
Mm,
so many fears, fear of persecution, fear of being judged, and all of those things. So actually, it's a normal process that we all go through, is that fear
yeah.
of, what's going to happen to me if people know that, I use crystals in my business, or if I connect to spirit to gain answers for, different things within my business, or if I really step into the wholeness of who I am, how am I going to be judged? How am I going to be compared? What are my family going to think?
Mm,
Right. So
yeah.
it's a big thing, right? And it's
Mm,
having the, I don't, dedication is the word that comes to me, to follow that dream, right? And to follow our dreams, we have to get uncomfortable. We have to be able to step into our true authenticity to be able to follow them through, right? Especially for those of us that have really big dreams that are about making an impact, that are about um, serving others,
mhm.
serving humanity, serving the planet, whatever it may be. So it is a journey that we have to face in order to get us to where it is that we want to be and to fulfill our destiny. So
Yeah.
can you describe like where your business was before the blueprint reading, and kind of how you've mentioned a little bit how you were feeling emotionally, because our
Yeah.
emotions are a big piece of what happens and what we attract and all of those things.
Mm.
So where was the business, and kind of how were you feeling about the business?
Mm. Well, I mean, I don't even want to say lucky because I don't necessarily believe in luck, but I've been fortunate enough that pretty much in the 4.5 years I've run my business, there's rarely been a month where I haven't made any income. So
Mhm.
I've been fortunate in that sense, but there's always been a desire for more, and that desire for more has been a desire for depth. And that's the whole reason why I burnt out 2 years ago, is that I was doing this content work with clients. I was, strictly in business coaching. Now, what I didn't realize at the time is that, and I don't know whether this is um a like something I realized in my spiritual journey, is that I I don't consider myself a spiritual person in the sense that I'm not into the typically spiritual things. But
Mhm.
what I realized is that I am an amazing channel. Um, I've had people, call me like a business oracle, like the way that I can channel and like my connection to my intuition. And so actually in February of this year, my nan passed away, and it was the day after her funeral, and I had some client calls, or just sales calls. I can't even remember, some kind of calls lined up, and I was going to cancel them, but then something said to me, go ahead with these calls. And a message came through that said, you are not going to do these calls from your mind anymore. You're going to do these calls from your heart and from your soul and from your spirit and from your intuition. And that at the time was a real leap of faith that I didn't like, it was scary. And looking back now, I kind of forgot that that even happened, because now it's so natural for me to, trust my intuition and channel for my clients. And I don't ever really doubt like what comes through. But yeah, for a long time, I was lacking that fulfillment. And I was still, it's that like void limbo in between phase where you're you're moving on and you're evolving, but you're also holding on to the past from a place of fear and lack and control. And so, and I still am, I know I still am to a degree, but I feel like slowly but surely I'm like letting go of, almost like emptying the heavy backpack, like emptying the things that are, releasing the things that are weighing me down, that actually, you know, a part of me feels like, oh, maybe I should do that because I'm good at it, or it's worked before, or, you know, people desire that. But actually coming back always to what do I enjoy, what lights me up. And ultimately, something I realized really recently is my happiness is all that matters. And, you know, I've made a bunch of money and I've not been happy. I've also had no money and not been happy. I've also had a lot of money and been happy, and had no money and been unhappy. You know, it's like I've experienced all corners of it. But now I'm like, okay, I want to be happy first and foremost, so that, you know, the work that I do is a bonus and is from a place of overflow. Because I've moved through all the stuff of like proving and performing, and, you know, not feeling good enough, and my worth being wrapped up in success. And um yeah, and feeling, even as recently as this week, I had some breakthroughs around, you know, holding on to the past. And my friend was like, can you just let it go? Can you just draw a line in the sand and say, that was the past. I'm going to appreciate and acknowledge the past, but I get to create anew, and I get to do things differently now. And I'm not the person I once was. And it was almost like the only people that know how this really feels is the people that have experienced success before, being a certain way. And if you don't then experience success being another way, it makes you feel like, oh, should I just go back to the way I was? But you can't, because you're not that person anymore. No
Yeah.
matter how hard you try, you're trying to fit into a suit that doesn't fit you anymore. So, and that's scary. That's really blooming scary. So yeah, that's where I've been.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I feel that one of the things that really came up within your reading is that you were always in the masculine energy, afraid of the feminine energy, because the
Yeah.
feminine energy is where you're vulnerable, right? And masculine is your doing. And you said you're an action taker. So you've always been in that masculine energy, hustling and doing and chasing and, you know, all of those things. So from the reading, bringing out, you need to be more in your feminine energy, in intuition, in allowing, and all of those things. How did that feel to you at the time?
At the time, like I remember when you were saying about like working with the elements and like, you know, tapping into my like witchery and stuff like that. And I just remember thinking, and my mind is, you know, less so now, but it has very much been in the past, like, okay, what's the how? Tell me how, and I'll do it. Like the very masculine way of like, tell me the steps and I can take the steps and I can get to the result, the destination. So my mind was instantly thinking, but how, but how, but how. But it's funny because since having that reading, I've had like my coaches, friends, just so many like reflections of people saying that actually I have very strong feminine energy that gets to lead me. And I felt, and also somebody, one of my coaches made me realize that even the success that I made 2 years ago, I wasn't in super masculine energy. It was my feminine energy. It's my sacral,
Mhm.
being a manifesting generator. It was my sacral that was leading me. And so I feel like I've, you know, since the reading, I've been through other people's reflections as well and confirmations, been connecting the dots of, actually leading with my feminine does get to lead to results. Because my childhood experience, as I'm sure for many of us, is that my dad was the wounded masculine, but my dad was the successful one. My
Mhm.
mum was in the wounded feminine and always struggled with money. So growing up, who am I going to want to mirror? I'm going to want to mirror my dad, you know? And so, and my dad has always inspired me with his entrepreneurship. But yeah, it's now realizing that like the feminine is just as powerful, and if not like more powerful in some ways.
Mm.
Um, and like I don't know, my brain's like maybe it's the masculine again. Like when I find the evidence, I'm like, okay, yeah. like that like confirmation of like, if people just say it to me, I'm like, okay, yeah, nice. But like if I see it for myself, I'm like, okay, and now I can get on board.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Do you remember any of the fears that came up as we were discussing this?
I I remember the fears about like the witch wounds and the sisterhood wounds, and I had a lot of fear about like coming out of the spiritual closet with like my family and stuff, which I feel like have really started to dissolve. And even like sisterhood wound stuff has been coming up since like our so that's the other thing I want to say about the reading is that, and I guess this is what I'm connecting the dots with even now speaking about it, is that we you brought up so much that gave me clarity, and that clarity gave me direction of like, oh, okay, so I have these witch wounds, I have these sisterhood wounds, and I've only really started to heal those in the last few months in terms of like the hurt and the pain that I have experienced even in this business from past clients, from past coaches. Like I've
Mm,
only just started to really process the trauma that I experienced from that.
yeah. And how is that moving you forwards? Like, how are you feeling in
That,
yourself now?
yeah, well, I've been making some amazing friends, which has been so nice because I always had like a fear of like other women and like other women don't like me. So like I went to an in-person brunch meetup on Tuesday with some girls in London. One of them I'd met up with before, and now we've got like a little WhatsApp group, and we're all like they're all entrepreneurs or coaches. We're all supporting each other, and that just feels so healing for my sisterhood wounds. Um, I mean, even yesterday had um I had three conversations. I had two conversations with two clients, and I had a conversation with my mum. And I was really proud of myself because in all three conversations, it was uncomfortable for me to do this, but I was really able to stand my ground and just say, like, you know, not fall back into like people pleasing, savior, because that's
Mm,
been a wound of mine, like trying to, like, I'm realizing I'm not here to save anyone,
mm,
even my own mother. And it felt really powerful to like kind of put my mum in her place and be like, look, in a loving way.
yeah,
And I wouldn't have been able to do that in with such like strength and conviction and courage as I did. So
that's
yeah,
fantastic.
I feel like stronger in myself. That's like
Mm,
the word. I just feel more like resilient, more strong, more, and then I feel like I can do more bold, courageous things. Like I'm posting polarizing stuff online, and I'm getting, some people disagreeing, or and I'm
um,
before I would have deleted the post because I couldn't handle people disagreeing, and now it's like my capacity is definitely like expanding to hold a lot more.
fantastic. That's really, really powerful. So when I did your reading, I was doing it as a written PDF,
Mm.
right? I'm now doing them as live sessions. But when you received the PDF and you started to read through it, how did you feel? Like, what emotions came up for you?
Mm. I mean, I took like a whole bunch of notes. And actually, when I look at my notes here of what I wrote down key takeaways, and then I wrote down challenges or like opportunities, and then I wrote down ideas for offers. And I guess I felt a mix of emotions. I felt definitely felt seen and um validated, and like just a sense of relief to know who you are. Um, especially as like on a human level, as an undefined G center in human design, that means a fluid sense of identity. So for me
Mhm.
to know who I am as on a soul level, that's so helpful for me as a human, because it means, okay, I'm adaptable in my identity, but I know who I truly am at soul level, which feels amazing. Um, and then the challenges or opportunities where, of course, they triggered me. And yeah, I I felt like, I mean, I know I'm just looking now, and something that came up was like self-love, 4 out of 10. And I feel like that's like self-esteem is 8 out of 10, self-confidence 6 out of 10. Definitely confidence has gone up.
Mhm.
And something that I've really been working through these past few months is shame. And that shame was blocking me from loving myself, because my way of driving myself forward was to punish myself, essentially. So just bringing more awareness to that. um yeah, so like having a bit of an audit to see, like, okay, where, like, I took the reading, and then I looked at, where I currently was. And I mean, I need to review it again, because I'm obviously reviewed it, like, it's been a few months now.
Yeah.
But I mean, even you sharing about like nature and the elements. I told you I had a spiritual clearing session with energy clearing session with a spiritual coach, and elements came through in goddess form. And even in like the sessions I've had since with very spiritual coaches, healers, activators, I've really owned that even more.
Mhm.
And yeah, I've really been taking better care of my health. Like, that's been a big one, and my diet and my nutrition. Like, and it's so funny because I should have reviewed my notes before the call, because I'm looking at things now and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like doing these things, and like I didn't connect the dots until now. So
That's
yeah,
fantastic.
you might also find that after the reading as well.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. As through speaking to other clients that have had the reading, it takes a while to ingest everything because there's so much information to actually take on board about who you are, why you're here, your purpose, your mission, your gifts, and all of the things, right? Because there's also ideas for your soul purpose work, right? So as you've worked through it, and as you're now looking back through your reading and now thinking, oh, right, I'm doing that now. What emotion does that bring to you? Does it bring clarity? Does it bring a sense of achievement? Does it bring certainty? What kind of emotions are coming up for you?
I think like we all as humans, like um we want that like book. We want that like guidebook for life, for parenting, for
Yeah.
relationships. We want to be able to read a book that can guide us along our way. And essentially that's what this soul blueprint reading is. It
Mm.
is a guidebook for your soul. And it is like, and I think this was probably the surprising thing, is that I kind of thought like, oh, this is going to be like a nice thing. It's going to be so nice to have the clarity. But what I didn't predict or anticipate was the like triggers that would come up through you sharing things with me about what I'm not fully owning, what I'm like still, suppressing, hiding, ways in which I'm still sabotaging, ways in which I'm living or being out of alignment. And the reason it's triggering is because change is scary. And
Yeah.
if, you're told, it's like being told you're in the wrong relationship, this person's not for you, and you've been with that person for a long time, you're going to think, oh shoot, even though you might believe that and you might agree, oh, I'm not meant to be with this person, that's a terrifying thing to have to go through that change. So yeah, you've been warned. Like, it will bring up a lot of um triggers and discomfort around making the changes. But I love like Carl Jung's philosophy of like, bringing the darkness to light. And you know ignorance is bliss until it's not. So I'd rather know these things, and this is why I love the shadow work. I'd rather be told and know where I'm being or living out of alignment, so that I can make the necessary changes, rather than just like, head in the sand and continuing to complain or be in victimhood or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like we said at the beginning, one of the biggest things is to come out of that spiritual closet, right? And that is one of the biggest, scariest things. So now that you've stepped into working more intuitively, letting your clients know that you're working intuitively, letting everybody know that you're working more intuitively, other than the fear, how is that feeling? Like
Mm,
on the positive
it
side?
feel yeah, it feels like so much more effortless and flow. Like it feels, we all know how amazing it feels to be in a state of flow. Like it just feels, it's like orgasmic. There's like no better feeling than being in a state of flow, just that blissful feeling of truth ultimately. And yeah, I think like if anything, and maybe it's like my shadow work lens, like I'm wanting to see like, okay, where can I be in flow even more? How can I, my whole thing is like, I said it on a live 2 years ago when I made like 500K in 12 weeks. I quoted my success as the lazy girl guide to success. And I feel like I'm really wanting to own that now, own the ease and letting it be really easy. And I mean, I even had somebody tell me a month or so ago, intuitively, that my human design is wrong, and that actually it's wrong for a certain percentage of people. And I'm not a manifesting generator, I'm a projector. And I always say it doesn't matter what my human design is, but even that has given me clarity to feel like, oh, I want to, I just want things to be so easy and like effortless. Doesn't mean comfortable, doesn't mean
Yeah.
not scary, but like just let things be. Like I'm not interested in, making things harder, which takes work because you've got to look at, okay, where am I still making things hard? Where am I, like I said before, living and being out of alignment and, correcting that and doing the inner work, the shadow work, the energy healing work to see like, okay, where did I learn that? I mean, I do this work with my clients all the time. Like, what we learn about money, what we learn about success. Even I have so many clients who struggle with the marketing and sales because they have these beliefs that they're bad at it. And it's like that's the thing that blocks them from learning something that is just a neutral skill.
Yeah,
Just a neutral skill. So
absolutely. So how do you feel that this, if you can put it in words, how has this reading changed you and how has it changed your business?
I feel like this reading is, I mean, it's the gift that keeps on giving. So it's gonna keep unfolding. But I feel like thus far, um, it's so funny because I can notice my mind being like, well, I'm still in the spiritual closet and like, there's still space to grow, but it's like one foot in gratitude, one foot in desire. I would say tying in what I shared already, like letting it be easy and effortless means being and doing and operating in alignment.
Mm.
So I'm, before I was very kind of driven by money and external success, and my worth was very tied into that. Now I'm more interested in what actually would bring me joy
Mhm.
to serve people in the world in that way. Like what would light me up? What would feel, it wouldn't feel like work, and I would, do it for free. That's how much I love to do it. And I'm still getting that, like not even getting the clarity because I feel like I've probably got the clarity, but allowing myself to really integrate
Mhm.
that, like that knowing and that clarity and that connection of who I truly am, so that I can like stop doing all the things that are out of alignment with who I truly am, because I know I'm still doing things that are not fully in alignment. And we don't have to let everything go at once. We get to, I mean, some people do, but I don't think we need to be like cold turkey with things. But so yeah, I would say yeah, letting it be easy and effortless, and living, being, doing in alignment with who I truly am, and putting my happiness, my joy, and my fulfillment first before anything else.
Excellent. So have you seen, a change in the kind of clients that you're attracting as well?
Yes. Yeah, I would say so. I would say as my confidence is growing, and I feel like every day, like I'm feeling more and more like almost I've got my confidence back, but this is like a true, raw, authentic confidence. Um, Even yesterday, like yesterday was a four-figure cash day, and um, I feel like I'm attracting clients who are action takers, who are willing to do what it takes to, you know, work it out, and
Mm.
they're not looking at me to save them or save their situation. And I feel like in the past there has been that hero victim paradigm a little bit, and I'm just not willing. I feel like I've drawn the line in the sand so many things. I'm just not willing to be anyone's hero or savior. Like,
No. Perfect.
no.
Perfect. So when our clients are more in alignment with us and what we're doing, what we stand for, our core values, our purpose, our mission, that becomes easier in itself,
Mm,
right? Because they are raising the vibration of the container or your one-to-one sessions, or however you're working with them, the vibration is has risen.
mm.
um,
Yeah.
and then collectively it becomes so much easier, right? Because you're not there. They're not seeing you as the savior. They're seeing you as someone that can guide them rather
Yes.
than save them, which is a completely different energy, right?
Yeah.
And makes what you're here to do a lot easier, right? Less
Yes.
struggle. And then you can be more in your feminine energy rather than having to drive and save in your masculine energy, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Summed it up so well. That's it.
yeah, absolutely. Is there anything that you want to add?
I feel like everyone is looking for clarity, and that's such a common thing, is like we're looking for clarity of who we truly are. And if that is you, then definitely book in a reading with Susie. But I would say, um, if you really want to see like your life and business and relationships and health, all
Mhm.
areas transformed by this reading, then it's it's not the clarity that's going to do that. It's the healing work as well, which I know you also offer. So I would say, like, get the clarity, but I would say, the thing that's made actual changes to my physical reality has
Mhm.
been the healing work around, like, okay, so I have this information, I have this clarity, a bit of a shadow work audit. Where am I now not living in alignment with that? And that's what's made like the biggest changes. So I always be honest and say, yeah, like, prepared to do the work.
Yeah, absolutely. And how would you explain, like, your explanation of when you understand who you are at your core, how that changes everything?
So many ways. I mean, you when you know who you are, you show up with in the world with more confidence, with more conviction. And if you're more confident, you can do bolder things, because it's like, I've got myself. Without that confidence, it's difficult to be courageous, because you're like, oh, I don't know if I've got myself. But if
Mm.
you know who you are, you know you've got yourself through and through. And then it also doesn't matter. Like I said, I don't care whether people like me or not anymore. Like, it still hurts if people are mean or whatever, but like, I'm not going out there to receive validation, or I'm not looking for money to validate me. I'm not looking for clients, for, you know, engagement on social media to validate me, because I know who I truly am. So if somebody makes an accusation or assumption about me that isn't true, I don't need to justify or explain myself to that person, because I know who I am. And if they interpret anything, then, that's on them to that's the interpretation they've made. And, it's probably like, I know being a 5-1 in human design, my 5 line is to trigger people into their expansion. So like how people grow in my world is that they don't like me at points because I tell them the stuff that they don't want to hear. And that like, but I only share it when they're ready to hear it. And I show them where they're playing small.
Yeah.
And that can bring up a lot of resistance. But I'm willing to be the villain. Like I am more than willing to be the villain for my clients to grow. And if people are so triggered by me, then, and if they can't see that that's a reason to hire me and to work with me, then that's on them
Yeah.
to, you know, go on that journey.
Definitely. Would you say that having the understanding that the reading has given you about yourself, your mission, your purpose, and your gifts, you are now attracting people that are in alignment with that, right? And when you attract the people that are in alignment with that, you're not going to get the people that basically are not in alignment with you, that don't understand who you are, that don't understand where you're coming from. So that creates its own ease in itself, right? Because you
Exactly.
only attract the people that are in alignment that need to work with you, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like I have people come into my world who just like, pay immediately and they're just like, I just know that I want to work with you. And there's no like tons of questioning, there's no tons of objections, because they know, they feel it and they know and they trust it and they feel my conviction and my confidence and they know my genius through my content and they trust me and they feel safe with me. And that's the most important thing for me, is that my clients feel safe and they feel like I can really help them, because I am a results driven person. Like I want the people that I work with to get results. Like isn't that like why we hire people,
Yeah.
like it's not just, throw it in someone's face if you don't get the result. But obviously that is kind of the point.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So looking back over the last 2 years where you did make lots of money, like before the 2 years of unbalance, how are your
Mm.
clients differing? Like, how is the business attracting clients?
Mm. I feel like before, and even up until recently, I was still in a place of like proving myself. And it's because my confidence was so low that and I was trying, this is so what so many people do. I was trying to come across as this confident and bold person, but if you don't feel that way inside, energy doesn't lie, people are going to feel that.
Yeah.
So rather than posting on social media pretending to be confident and bold, be doing the shadow work behind the scenes to find out why you're lacking in that confidence and what's actually going on there. And so for me, I had to look at, why am I people pleasing? Why am I proving performing? Why am I trying to save people? Why am I afraid of what people think? Had to like look at all of these things that were creating behavior that was out of alignment, that was draining my energy, my time, my bank account as well. Like it was, tapping everything. And I had to, like take a look in the mirror and see what was actually going on and then work through that. And so, I know like how I'm starting to show up on social media is triggering people, because confident people do trigger people. But I'm like, I've worked to get to this point, and if my confidence triggers you, that's the perfect reason to hire me, because I was that person that was so triggered by confident people and used to think, screw you. um like I used to accuse people of being narcissists all the time. They weren't narcissists, they were just confident in who they were, and because I was jealous, because
Mm.
I felt so rubbish within myself and I wanted to feel confident in myself. So yeah, I do have compassion for people's projections, but like, yeah, I guess that's my whole thing. And that's the thing with my clients, is that, however they come to me, they pretty much, even after one session, they feel more confident and they feel like they're ready to show up as who they are boldly. And I mean, I've had clients who have come to me, they haven't made money for months, and they've been working with various coaches, and then they start making sales. And the confidence piece like has so much to do with it. And that's because of this reading, and all of the other work I've been doing behind the scenes in combination, in tandem, has really helped me to get my confidence back. And like that's be honest, is the number one thing I wanted. Because if you're confident within yourself, you can do anything, and you don't care about what the people think. People might think you're ruthless, you're like not nice, whatever, but it's like just because you're confident doesn't mean that you're like a bitch, you know? You can be confident and have a heart.
Yeah, absolutely. And those people that find you, find that they're not in alignment with you, they're not your clients, right? They're not your friends. They're not the people that need to be in your energy, right?
Yeah,
Everyone's entitled to their own opinions and their own ways of doing things and all of that. And if they're not in alignment with you, then they don't need to be in your energy. It's as simple
exactly.
as
I
that.
love that. Yeah,
It
I love
really
that.
is. And that's why we don't need to worry about what other people are thinking. Because if you are triggering them in a bad way, not in a way that they want to, do work and get to a different place, but
Mm-hmm.
triggering you in a bad way, or feel that you need to save them, or, whatever is coming up for them, they're not your people. It's that simple. It
100%.
really is. It really is.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're hand holding, you're supporting, and it's draining your energy for the people that you are meant to be working with, and it's taking up time and energy for the people that you are meant to be working with, right? So
100%.
we've got to let that go and not worry about
Mm-hmm.
that. If they're meant to be working with you, then they will find you and they will hire you on the spot, make a payment plan on the spot, whatever it may be. They will know that they're meant to be working with you, and
Exactly.
that's a completely different energy from the people that want to gain your attention in different ways,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
So we need to let go of the comparisonitis, we need to let go of the fear. And change does take time, right? It's not something that's going to happen overnight. Once you have that understanding of who you are at your core, what your soul desires, how it wants to be expressed, that's your starting point, right?
Mm-hmm.
For really connecting on a soul level with who your soul wants to be. Because our human has ideas of what our human wants to be, but actually we need to be more in alignment with our soul. And through the
Mm-hmm.
reading, we talk about how our soul wants to be expressed and what our soul desires and what our soul um, wants to be in this lifetime. So it's about connecting with that, not what our human thinks we want, right?
100%.
And
Yeah.
once we
Because
have that,
even like the two clients who signed up with me yesterday for the 4-figure cash day, like they were both out of the blue, like not never really engaged in my content. One of them was from a group program that I'm in. And she was
ah,
like, "Oh my gosh, you're so good at like content hooks. Can we get on a call?" We got on a call immediately after the group call we were on. And she
yeah,
signed up on the spot. She was like, "Yeah, let me get my card details." So
fantastic.
it's like miraculous ways.
Exactly. So you're showing up in the expression that your soul wants you to be, right? And that's magnetizing.
Yeah.
And that
Yes,
just
exactly.
pulls people in without the hustle, without the overworking, the overthinking, the overwhelm, like all the,
Proving.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really,
Mm-hmm.
really important. And I feel that that's exactly what this reading gives you, to be able
Mm-hmm.
to help you with that, to give you the certainty of who you are.
That certainty is so, I always say, I've literally said that for years. Like, if you have that certainty, you can have that conviction, and then you come across to other people as confident, and then you come across as safe. And then that's when people trust you to buy. Like, that's like sales psychology, number like 101.
Yeah.
So, like, this literally like helps you with, yeah, with selling.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But it's your energy that sells. It's your energy that
Mm.
becomes magnetic to your soul clients, right? And if you don't know who you are, what you stand for, what your mission, your purpose, your gifts, and all of those things are, there's a mismatch, right?
Yeah. And I
You're,
know for me, I was very much like, I'm glad you brought that up because you've helped me to realize something is that before I was very much like, okay, well, I can see myself in this person and I can see myself in that person. And I was almost like taking parts of other people to like, somehow make up a picture of who I am, which was, doing it externally. And this reading has like and all of the other like healing work that I've done behind the scenes has really helped me to realize who I truly am. So I'm not like, okay, let me look at this other person, like this coach or this person I look up to, and try and be like them. Instead, it's like, oh, I see myself in them. That's interesting. Like, it's not like, oh, I need to be like them. I
Mhm.
need to take a part of them because, you know, I see that as a part of me and it's going to make me successful. Like, there's like an attachment and a fear and a control to that. But instead, like, oh no, that's interesting. That, like, because I feel so good within myself, I don't need to like look at other people to show me like, okay, what this is why I don't believe in the whole thing of like um you know, like looking at other people and seeing like what similarities you have and like how like looking at success. I'm just like, no, like look at yourself and how you get to create
Mm.
your own version of success.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, other people are here to mirror what we need to know at the time, right? So they might be mirroring that you need to do something in particular, or you need to heal something in particular, or you know, whatever it may be. They're there as a mirror. They're not there as you know, something to copy, something to imitate, right? They're there
Which so many people do,
yeah.
especially in this industry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. They're there to help you to by mirroring and reflecting back what you either need to heal in yourself, what you need to learn, what you need to understand, you know, whatever it may be. So having that
Mm-hmm.
recognition from those people is fantastic, but don't
Yeah.
imitate anybody
No.
because we are all unique. We have our own unique gifts, talents, experiences, knowledge. Like there's no one else that is like us, right? So why
Mm-hmm.
would you want to be somebody else?
Yeah. Yeah. Only if you feel you're lacking something within and, you know, and that's where that's where the healing work comes in. It's like instead of imitating yourself, heal these parts, heal and integrate these rejected parts of you so that you can be all of who you truly are,
Exactly. But first, you've got to get the understanding of who you are.
of what those rejected parts are,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is what this helps with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much. I'm just going to see if Lois has any questions. I'm going to have a look on
No
Facebook
worries.
as well. So I don't know if you
Yes.
want to check your. So let us know if you have any questions while you are watching, either for Lizzie or myself. Let me see. Lois, do you have a question either about the reading, Lizzie's experience, anything that you want to ask, really? I'm just trying to find the chat box. There it is. So do let us know. Can't see anything on Facebook.
And if anyone has any questions afterwards,
Yeah, absolutely. You
you can
can.
always
uh,
message me.
yeah, yeah. Or message me, or just
Mhm.
right under the video. I'm going to share this in the group, in my group as well, and then hopefully Lizzie, you can share it in your group. And feel free to message us. I might tidy it up a bit first,
Yeah.
get rid of the nonsense at the beginning, and then perhaps reshare it.
Perfect.
Yeah, does that sound good?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
been so
Yeah.
lovely talking to you
Yeah.
and
You
you
too. Thank
know,
you.
answering some questions to help people understand just how powerful this soul blueprint reading is and how it can impact their life and impact their business as well.
Yeah,
It's
massively.
double
Massively.
whammy, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't even go into like how it's impacted my relationship because that would be a whole other thing. But you know, I can always let you know, or we can do another one because
Yeah.
today
Yeah.
what came to mind was business, but it has impacted, like I said, health, relationship. I mean, when you're working on you, there's no area that can't be reached, you know? It's that
Exactly.
ripple effects.
Exactly.
Everything benefits.
This is it. And when you're working on personal relationships, like working on yourself and it having an impact on your personal relationships, it's also going to have an effect on your business relationships as well, and
Mhm.
your relationships with children if you have them, and relationships with family members, and like it's so expansive.
It
It's
is.
so
The
expansive.
limit does not exist.
Yeah, this is just the beginning. Like this is just a
Yeah,
small piece that can
literally,
open up the world, basically.
literally. Yeah, 100%.
It is
Yeah, thank you.
absolutely. Sorry, I can't get off mute to be honest, Susie. Is this as powerful in business when you haven't really got a business up and running? I've gone round in circles for years. Absolutely, Lois, because it will give you the clarity, like as Lizzie was saying, clarity is so important of what you're here to do, right? And when you understand that clarity of what you're here to do, what your purpose is, what your mission is, it gives you a whole new vibration. It gives you a whole new energy to start moving from. When you have that clarity in your business of what you're here to do, it will start to take off, right? Because you're in alignment with what your soul wants you to share in this lifetime, right? Which is so important. And it comes with ideas, right? So it's not just this is your soul purpose, right? It lists ideas so that you can still be a little bit in control and not say, well, okay, you're here to be a shamanic coach that teaches women blah blah, dot 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 dot. You still have a choice within this that will help your soul to feel comfortable, to feel seen, recognized, and understood, right? So that's why it gives different options for you to decide, okay, with that really feels in alignment with me, that excites me, right? And it may be that all of them excite you, but you'll be able to find a starting point to get the business up and running. Does that make sense? Okay, awesome. Feel free to message me with any other questions. You can drop them in Facebook, you can private message me, and we can take it from there, to give you that real clarity, to get you moving forwards. Because what I've noticed with my clients right now is that they have got stuck at a certain plateau, right? And a lot of that is around clarity, it's around worthiness as well, feeling worthy of this. The witch wound is very much a big thing that holds us back. And the more that we explore, the more that we connect in with the Akashic records to remove different things that are blocking our path, the more expansion there is, right? The more opportunity, the more possibility that comes to us, right? We're all going to have different wounds. We've all experienced different things. The witch wound, the prostitution wound, the sisterhood wound, the father wound, the mother wound, that there are things that need to be cleared, but this reading gives you the starting point and the clarity of what you're here to do. And from that point, we can start to look at what is holding you back from doing that, from being this amazing being that is here to serve in whatever form is right for you. A lot of us, yes, we are coaches or therapists or whatever, but that doesn't mean that you can't be serving through music, through writing, through so many different forms, right? We all have our own expertise, we all have our own knowledge, and it's about gaining that clarity, that certainty that gives us the confidence to move forward. Does that make sense? Perfect. It's such exciting stuff. I mean, I could talk about the Akashic records like for days and days and days, just because the information that comes through really can help us to move forward and clear the blocks, right? Working with healing within the Akashic records is incredibly powerful, incredibly. So the reading will also tell you the major blocks that you're holding on to, so you have that clarity to help you to make the next steps as well. Okay, so I don't just leave you with here's your reading. I give you, ideas and things that you can do to help you to really step into this as well. Awesome. So is there anything that you would like to add, Lizzie? Otherwise, I'll just ramble on about the Akashic records forever.
I actually have to go because I have another call. But I would just say nothing is ever too late. It's always about readiness. So time doesn't exist. So you're never late, you're never early, you're always on time.
Absolutely.
So time
Definitely.
doesn't have to come into it at all.
No, we're where we're supposed to be at any given moment. Definitely. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your experience of the
Yeah,
reading
no
with
worries.
everyone. And I
Yeah.
will
Cool.
shoot you a message over the weekend as well.
Perfect. Perfect. And when you have any questions, message me. I'm here to chat to
Yep.
you.
And
And
the
thank you,
same from me as
Susie.
well. Absolutely, my pleasure. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful that
You're
we got this
so
hour
welcome.
together. And
So fun, so good to
yeah,
reflect and celebrate all the things. So I
yeah,
appreciate the
definitely.
opportunity.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Have an amazing weekend, everybody.
You too. You
I
too.
will.
Survive the heat.
Yeah, I'll try and survive the heat. Very, very.
Oh, ooh.
I
Yeah,
know.
thank you
I know.
so much. And yeah, we'll chat soon.
Yep.
Susie,
Bye,
lovely to see you, Lois,
everybody.
and
Thank
everyone
you so
else.
much. Thank you, Lois. Bye. Bye.
Bye.